Welcome back, everybody. Real Canadian Fishing here, and I'm Corey. And here we are, back in the workshop. And today we have a request from one of my viewers. David Karuni asks, can you post a video on how to rig a bead or an egg sac? I don't know how much weight to put after the bobber. So let's go through a small example of how to rig a bead and how I rig my egg sacs. Let's get to it. Okay guys, so let's get to the beads. This is a bead kit that I've purchased a couple years back off of somebody I found on the river. They were selling them, so I decided to buy one. It's an assortment of beads for different water clarities and different situations. Let me just pick a bead up here and I'll show you how to rig it up. So just for an example, and because you can see it best, I'm going to use this chartreuse here. And here's my ice fishing rod that I've rigged up just to show you how to do it. So you're going to have a float, you're going to have a swivel, and you're going to have your leader material. So what you want to do is you want to slide your bead onto your leader, like so. Okay, so your bead's on your leader material, but your bead's moving back and forth. So you're going to need some of these. And these are called bead pegs. So bead pegs are just a tapered piece of plastic, rubber plastic, and this goes through the hole in the bead and pegs your bead in place. So let me show you how that works. So you put this peg through the hole in the bead, like so, like that. You pull on the thinner side, wedging the line in the bead, and now your bead doesn't move. So now you're going to need a hook for this, but you want to use the right size hook. So my rule of thumb is, if you're using this size of a bead, then you want to have a hook bigger than your bead, because what's happening is that the fish is putting this in their mouth. Okay, the hook's going to be hanging off the side, so when you yank, you don't want to have a smaller hook because their mouth is already yay big. If you put a smaller hook, you'll just pull the hook right out. So you need to go one size bigger. And the number 6 hook is perfect for this 8mm bead. You tie on your hook. I like to use just a simple clinch knot. That works for me. I don't have any problems. And now your bead placement. I like to keep my bead about an inch to an inch and a half, quarter away from the hook. And then what you do is you go ahead and you trim off your tail end of your bead peg and the other side. Now, don't throw away this piece, because it'll come in handy when you're running smaller beads, because smaller beads will have a smaller hole. So save these. So here's your basic setup. You're going to have a bobber, a swivel, your bead, and a hook. Now, excuse me, you can always run a bead with a spawn sack. So here we go. This is how I hook up my spawn sacks. So here is some spawn sacks that I've rolled up myself, and you'll notice that there's a knot on one end where you closed your spawn sack. I don't like hooking my hook through the knot, because then I have a hard time to remove the spawn sack off when it becomes old and turned white. So I like to flip mine upside down, I like to hook it upside down, just gently through the bag, like that. So I will run a bead and a spawn sack sometimes, or just a bead or just a spawn sack. Now, in regards to how much weight to put on your float, it all depends on what size float you're using. So you want to put enough weight that the float is cocked down and being held down vertically in the water. So typically when I fish, I will put, or I'll do a setup called bulk shotting, where I'll put majority of my weight here, just underneath the float. This way it cocks the float down, and it's ready that even if it gets like a little hit, the float will go under, and then you know that you have a strike. And then if the need be, because there's some current, I might put a small duster shot on my leader. So here's what you'll need to get. You'll need, this is a Raven. It's got 6 or 7. It's got 7 different sizes of weights here, from AAA, AB, BB, 1, 2, 1, 4, 6, and 8. And they vary in size from a duster shot to like a 0.6 of a gram, so just over half a gram. And for my bulk shotting, I'll use this water Gremlin, which has a lot bigger shots. So I like to keep my shots to a minimum. So instead of putting 3 or 4 smaller shots, I like to use one big shot. That's the equivalent of 3 or 4 smaller shots. This way your line doesn't get tangled as easy when you're casting out. So let's put these on. I'll typically go for the bigger weight, and I'll put it just underneath my float, like that. And you know what? You don't have to crimp them on too tight, just tight enough to stay on. So you have your float, your weight, your swivel, your bead, your hook, and your spawn sack. And if need be, because you notice that your bait's not sinking fast enough, you put a duster shot on. So let's do that. And a duster shot will look like this, if you can even see that. Very small, weighs next to nothing, but it does something. And there we go. So that's your little duster shot there. So let's look at the whole rig again. Float, your bulk shot, your swivel, your duster shot, your bead, your hook, and your spawn sack. So I hope that helped you out, David. If anybody has any questions in regards to any type of river fishing, please drop me a comment, and if I can help you out, I'll be sure to do so. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Have a good one, and that's all for today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.